أجرهم بغير حساب. Certainly the patient ones are to be recompensed for whatever they have done without swift accounting, without us checking up on what they did. أولا, this Quranic verse that says the description of as-sabirun, إنما يوفى الصابرون. Sabirun in Arabic means patience. Here it means patient ones. But the ulama بيقولوا إنه this means, the patience in this verse means fasting, as-sawm. ليش؟ بيقولوا because there's something called التسمية, تسمية الحال بالمحل. Meaning, if you were to see somebody during the holy month of Ramadan and you say, MashaAllah, you're a patient individual. Because you meant that he was a fasting individual, and because of this Quranic verse came down in the holy month of Ramadan, بيقولوا تسمية الحال بالمحل, meaning this means the patient ones. Another opinion says no, this is من لوازم الصيام الصبر, meaning fasting demands from you to be patient over food, manners, whatever. That's why they call it min bab al-luzum, whatever the fasting dictates. So they call it min bab al-luzum. Patience divides into three parts. أولا, you have to be patient على طاعة, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered you to do a few rituals. صلي شوي, a little bit of fasting won't hurt. Hajj won't hurt. Pay a little bit of hummus, معلش, from the money we gave you, because you worked with whatever we gave you. Jihad, we don't want you to do that. معلش, مش مشكلة. We're not getting to that point. أمر بالمعروف, نهي عن المنكر. All I want you to do is be patient. شو يعني be patient? I want you to be very patient in performing these acts. Salat al-Dhuhr is at 12 o'clock. When you pray at 5 o'clock, that's not being patient. Unless you take a little bit of a few minutes at 12 o'clock, be patient, salli, and that's it. Call it a day. While you're exercising, don't have in your mind, I got to do this now. Oh, I got to pray. Oh, the holy month of Ramadan is coming. Oh, I have to do this. I can't work schedule, what have you. هذه أولا الصبر على الطاعة. Number two, بقول الصبر على المعصية. معلش, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have given you urges. We also told you to stay away from these urges, and we found you ways for you to stay away. If you couldn't, we want you to be patient by staying away from these things. الصبر على المعصية. غيبة, طبعا غيبة meaning backbiting. Nowadays it is the fruits of our tables after we're done eating. We start eating each other by performing غيبة. Allah says, معلش, take that pleasure out of you. I want you to be patient. You're going to lose out on something called al-ghiba. That's fine. The third and the most important one is as-sabr amma yusibuk. Patience on what afflicts you, either from your own doing or from others. And especially when it comes down from others, it hurts you that you lack normally the patience to do so. If somebody does bad unto you, your pride kicks in and you say, who is this individual that did this? Who do they think they are? How dare they do this? It's okay. Be patient. Forgive them. No. On a daily basis, something like this takes place. I will not forgive him. And then not only do I not forgive them, I indulge into ramming them with insults and making things up about them, trying to, because my defense system kicked in. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoa. How many times do you make a mistake with me on a daily basis? Do I get offended? I'm merciful unto you. Other people make mistakes towards you. You have to be merciful upon them. You have to be patient in this issue. 5 kids, 3 girls. The oldest at that time was 11 years old. The father is walking, parks his car in front of a hospital, in front of the police station. He's walking across the street. A car comes and rams him. The cops call the mother or the wife, and they tell her your husband was just hit. He was crossing the street, he was killed. She got 5 boys, 3 girls. 11 is the oldest. Now this narration is on the tongue of the 4th boy. He was 25 years old, and he's narrating this story. He says, we're young, we didn't realize what's going on. But later on in life, we realized the strong mountain of patience called my mother. He says, when my father died, whatever he left was barely enough for us to barely survive. They gave him a little bit of pension, but that pension would barely support us. 8 kids. So we had to move, to relocate, because none of his brothers, he had 2 brothers, none of them helped us. None of them looked at us. And he had sisters, none of them looked at us. You name it, nobody looked at us. And our only way of support was our mother. We would all, as kids, watch our mother on a daily basis, wake up in the morning, get us ready, prepare us. We go to school, she goes to work. The oldest would come home first, wait for his brothers. Next thing you know, the mother comes home at 9, 10 o'clock at night. She aches in the room by herself. She wouldn't dare let us hear her ache. We couldn't hear her sighs. That's how protective she was of us. It says, and we went on and went on. The 5th brother, being the youngest kid, was the most favorite to my mother. On a daily basis, she would remind us, she would say, kids, I want you to fear Allah. I want you to indulge yourself in patience with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, one day we were sitting home and we get a call from the police station. The police station calls, is this the home of so-and-so, the 5th child? He says, yes. The mother wasn't home then. He says, we need somebody down here at the station to identify. As soon as the officer said the word identify, one of the brothers, his heart stopped beating in his chest. Identify what? Just please, sir, can you come down to the police station? He didn't want to tell his mother. Takes his other brother. He says, hurry, we need to go to the police station. They rushed down to the police station. Remember, their father died parking the car and walking across the street when the car hit him. He comes in. Before they arrive at the police station, on the right-hand side, they see their brother's car parked right in front where their father's car was parked. They thought nothing of it. And they had a sigh of relief, actually. Says, oh. Brother looks at his brother and says, hey, if your brother got a parking ticket, they stopped him. In the Arab states, that's what they do. Says, your brother had a parking ticket. My God, it was a close one. They walked from the car, where the car was parked, across, not realizing that their father walked that step before. They get to the police station, they walk in, they talk to the officer. The officer says, I would like you to identify the body. The body of who? The body of your brother. He was hit by a car crossing the street. The sight is ugly. It's not easy. The kid was terrified. He's 22 years old. He was terrified. This is my brother. How am I going to tell my mother what's going to happen? My mother will have a heart attack. Goes back home, gathers everybody up. The girls, the boys. What are we going to do? Call my aunt. He calls his aunt. His aunt says, come here, what's going on? She says, I need to tell you something. He says, no problem, come over. He leaves his house, he goes to his aunt's house, his mother's sister. He arrives there, and he says to her, he tells her exactly the story. The aunt couldn't help but start crying. And this kid is looking at this aunt, and you say, my God, if she's crying like this, how about my mother? He says, listen, the most important thing right now is I cannot